A lot of people have a testimony to tell, and they're afraid to tell their testimony. But today, I'm going to tell y'all my testimony. Okay? Let me tell y'all something. When I was about 16 years old, I went to the United States, and I lived there for about 15 years, you know what I mean? And half of that 15 years, partly half of that, I was homeless. Yes, me, Bobo Ken, I was homeless. But that just goes to show where God can take you and where He can bring you from. But look at me today. Look at me today. Look at me today. Let me tell you something. I remember one time I was hungry. And I said, Lord, let me try to find something to eat, something after work, you know? And I was on a bicycle. And I remember I ride around Winn-Dixie in Fort Lauderdale. And when I reach around the back part of the bicycle, this dude came out of nowhere in this big Jeep. And this dude just knocked me down. I literally flew in the air over the Jeep. Do you know when I land directly back on my 2 feet. That was God. You understand me? I land directly back on my 2 feet. This is a big part of my testimony that should be heard out there. A lot of people are afraid to speak on their testimony, but you can't be afraid because life goes on. And it only goes to show where God can take you and where He can bring you from. I remember one night, I had a friend, and he was to the window like, who's that? Who's this? Who's that? Bitch. I'm like, hold on, this dude don't even curse, so why is he by the window cursing and saying all this stuff? So my Bahamian kick in. You know, Bahamian think we the baddest, we straight gangster, we gonna deal with this, you know? So I walk outside like, who? I pull my little jank. So, in space of a couple seconds, all I remember is when I look ahead of me. If you take 6 steps from yourself right now, if a person takes 6 steps away from you right now, they still will be directly in front of you. This guy opened up, and emptied his whole clip at me, and I was big, I was thick. His whole clip, and only hit me in my hand and my feet. And when it hit me, it's like the first shot hit me in this hand and it spin me around. The other one hit me in my crazy bone in my leg, and it lift me up and throw me on the ground. And I'm there like, laying there, and I remember floating in space, and I was saying, Mommy, 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 and I start saying, Ja, Ja, and I start to hear the sound like, so I'm saying to myself, what is this? While my face still on the ground, I'm still saying to myself, what is this sound I'm hearing? This guy is still standing there trying to get his gun unjammed so he can kill me. You know? And it was so crazy because after a few minutes, I'm still there all the time, and I'm still hearing almost 10 minutes straight. So I got up. When I went to the door, the guy is still there shaking. I'm like, yo, open the door. You know, the guy wouldn't open the door. I'm like, open the door. He wouldn't open the door. He finally opened the door. I went inside. We locked the door. The guy probably ran off or whatever happened. When I went in the bathroom, I seen this hole in my leg big like this. I looked through one part of my leg, through the next part. Was no blood. As soon as I look at that, it's like I freaked out. Because the blood just started like a faucet. And I just passed out. You know, but like I said, these are just places where God can take you and where He can bring you back from. You know, I have a serious testimony. You know, and that testimony there was actually a prayer that I prayed to God for. You know, I'm going to tell you about this next testimony. I remember one time this guy took me. And he said, look, man, I know you live on the streets. Come go with me. We're going to make some money. This guy took me to rob his own cousins. So I'm like, what the hell? So we sitting there. I'm sitting in the front room. He like, Ken, hold on, give me a minute. And him and his cousin went in the back room. And I sitting there, and the dude just pulled back up like, Ken. So I'm like, oh shit, what the hell? You know, I got my gun. He got his gun. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this? What did I get myself into? Because I'm from the Bahamas. I'm not used to this crazy shit. Like, what the hell? And God was so good. In space of like 3 minutes, we heard a knock on the door. And like 15, 20 dudes came up in the place. Thank God. It was like his cousins, his nephews, his other uncles and all that shit. And who ain't had their guns in their hand, had phone to their ears, and I was like, wow, man, listen, I was sweating bullets. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. You hear me? And let me tell you, life is serious. And I pray to God. But you know, when I got shot, it was a prayer from one of the last saints that I've encountered with. Because one night, same guy came and told me, let's go, man, I got your cousin with me, and we got to pay this rent in this place that we stay at. We got to rob some dudes. And that was the night that changed my life. You know why? Because that night, we pulled up on this fella. And this guy leaned out of the Jeep, and when he pointed his big gun at the fella, I never seen nobody in my life beg for their life in that manner. Never have I ever seen anyone beg for their life in that manner. And I told myself and God that night, I said, Lord, do anything to me, God, so I can stop. And that was when I ended up getting shot. Because I beg and I pray to God to do something, do anything, so I can stop. And that was a serious testimony. You know, when I say it was a serious testimony, listen, that's a serious testimony. And these are things that I've been through in my life. And this is why I encourage so many people. You know, I encourage so many people all around the world. I always on Facebook try to encourage people. I'm not here for shares and likes. I'm here to encourage and save lives. You know, so I want everyone to be encouraged. Everybody. You know, a week after I got shot, some guy came to my house. Oh man, are the police coming down here? Y'all boys better, you know, hide out, put your shit up. So I'm like, okay. You know, as Rasta, so I had a couple little joints there. So I take the joints, put it on the fence, the guy steal it. A few days later, one of my Bahamian friends saw him and slapped him up, brought him in the back there to me. I was like, nah, let him go, everything cool. So now I'm walking down the bridge a few days later on crutches because, you know, I just got shot. This dude, uncle, pull up on me, push a gun to my side. Nigga, what's up? What's up? What's up? And you know, karma is a serious thing. Because just the way that guy begged a few weeks ago for his life, when I told you that was the scariest thing I ever seen, that's the way I had to beg the shooter for my life. Remember now, I just got shot. I'm on crutches, and I'm about to get shot again. And that was God. And that's why I pray and I ask God to do anything, Lord, to stop me and take me out of this foolishness. So it all was a whole trial that the Lord had me on. And this is why I have a testimony to tell. So I want everybody to be encouraged. Blessed.